Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we are tackling a seriously high-stakes process, one that affects literally every healthcare facility and patient in the state. We're talking about verifying a Delaware nurse's license. Whether you're hiring a travel nurse or managing your own credentials, getting this right is absolutely critical. So let's dive right in. Just look at that number. Over 22,400 active registered nurses in Delaware. That is a massive volume of professionals delivering care every single day. But with that kind of scale comes a pretty vital question. How certain are you of a candidate's credentials? In today's fast-paced hiring environment, assuming a resume is perfectly accurate, that simply isn't an option anymore. And if you're wondering why we need to be so thorough, well, have you heard of Operation Nightingale? They recently uncovered a chilling reality, a massive scheme selling fake nursing degree diplomas and transcripts. People actually use these fake credentials to sit for the national board exam and get real licenses across multiple states. It's a stark reminder that verifying a license isn't just some bureaucratic checkbox. It is the ultimate frontline defense for patient safety. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll cover why verification matters. Second, Delaware's dual portal system. Third, our step-by-step guide. Then, troubleshooting, additional resources, and finally, some real-world scenarios. Okay, Section 1. Why verification matters. The stakes of healthcare credentialing. Beyond just dodging fraud like we just talked about, proper credentialing ensures compliance with strict national standards, and it protects that fundamental trust between a patient and their provider. In Delaware, the governing body taking on this massive responsibility is the Delaware Board of Nursing. They operate under the Division of Professional Regulation, or DPR. These are the folks developing the standards, handing down disciplinary sanctions when needed, and crucially, maintaining the official database of who is actually legally allowed to practice in this state. Moving on to Section 2, Delaware's dual portal system, DELPRS versus NURSIS. So, Delaware actually uses a dual track setup. Depending on what you're trying to figure out, you're going to use one of two primary databases. On the state level, we have DelPros. This is Delaware's authoritative primary source database. It's free, it's real-time, and it's perfect for looking up someone practicing under a Delaware-issued license. But then you have NURSIS, which is operated by the National Council of State Boards of Nursing. This is your primary source equivalent platform that tracks credentials nationwide. It's your absolute go-to for checking multi-state compact licenses. This brings us to a huge point of confusion for beginners, the difference between identifiers. Think of your state license number as variable. It changes depending on the state that issues it. But your NCSBN ID, that is a permanent national identifier. It gets assigned to a nurse when they enter the system, usually right around NCLEX registration, and it never, ever changes. It links all of a nurse's credentials nationwide for life. All right, Section 3, Step-by-Step Search Guide, Navigating DelPros. Now that we know the tools, let's actually run a search on the Delaware State Portal. It's pretty straightforward. Step 1, you just visit the DelPros license lookup page, and note you don't even need an account. Step 2, select the individual tab. Step 3 is super critical though. You have to input the exact first and last name as registered, or use the license number. Finally, when the results pop up, just click directly on the license number to view all the details and generate your official primary source verification. Okay, you've got the results. Now, what does it actually mean? Active is obviously the golden ticket. They're eligible to practice. Inactive just means they aren't currently practicing, but they could reactivate it. Now, if you see lapsed or expired, stop right there. That nurse cannot legally practice until they renew. And as you might guess, suspended means a temporary ban due to discipline, while revoked means the state board has permanently terminated their license. And speaking of discipline, DelPros makes it incredibly easy to dig into that. Remember, disciplinary actions are public record. So when you run a search, just look for a yes under the discipline column. Right next to it, you can click the view link, and it literally gives you direct access to download the formal PDFs, like consent orders or suspension details, straight to your computer. Section 4. Troubleshooting search issues. Overcoming common roadblocks. So what happens when you hit a brick wall? Because let's be real, the process isn't always perfectly smooth. First up, DelPro's search logic is very literal. It requires an exact name match. Actually, partial names only work if you type the very beginning of the name correctly. Also, if you're waiting on a brand new license to show up, just know that FBI and state background checks are almost always the bottleneck. And one more thing, Delaware does offer temporary permits, but they are facility specific and you absolutely must have a confirmed job offer in the state first. Oh, and here is a massive time saver that catches so many migrating nurses off guard. Delaware does not do paper trails for this. They do not issue written or paper verifications for standard RNs or LPNs. If you're endorsing a license into or out of Delaware, you have to use the electronic nurses verification system, which has a standard $30 fee. So whatever you do, do not sit around waiting for a paper form in the mail.
Section 5. Additional resources. Automating your compliance.
Checking one license is one thing, right? But what if you are managing a hospital staff of, say, 500 nurses? That's where Nurses e-Notify comes in. It's a totally free automated service where you can enroll your entire nursing roster. Instead of manually running checks on DelPros every single day, this system automatically sends you an email or text message if an enrolled nurse has an expiring license or a new disciplinary action. It's a total game changer for staying compliant.
Section 6. Real-world scenarios. Applying what you've learned.
Let's zoom out a bit. Say an out-of-state nurse with a compact license moves to Delaware. On day one, they establish their primary residence. Well, because of a recent rule change, they now have exactly 60 days to apply for a new license by endorsement in Delaware. Fast forward to year 2, they hit their first biennial renewal, where they have to prove their continuing education. That's 30 hours for RNs and 24 hours for LPNs. Tracking a timeline like that, it's basically impossible unless you're verifying these statuses online.
So tying it all together, mastering this whole process isn't just about crossing T's and dotting I's. It streamlines your hiring. It ensures your facility actually stays compliant with major accrediting bodies like the Joint Commission and NCQA. It lets you securely track traveling nurses, audit those continuing education hours smoothly, and most importantly, fiercely protect the safety of your patients.
Which really brings us full circle to the core mission of the Delaware Board of Nursing. All these technical steps, the dual databases, the exact name matches, it's not just bureaucracy for the sake of it. These are the literal safety nets designed to ensure the people providing bedside care are truly qualified and safe to practice. Quick disclaimer as we wrap up today. This explainer provides guidance based on current standards, but licensing rules can and do evolve. Always refer directly to the official Delaware Board of Nursing website and the DelPros portal for the very latest fees, regulations, and processing updates. I'll leave you with this. The next time you or someone you love walks into a hospital or clinic, think about the immense trust you're placing in the person wearing those scrubs. How certain are you that they've been properly verified? By actually using the tools we've explored today, healthcare leaders can answer that question with absolute confidence. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and we'll see you next time.